right, good evening, everybody.
Happy Monday.
How's everybody doing? We're excited to get some comics going tonight. Yeah, all of our cameras are up and running. That one's bothering me, the location of it, so I'm just going to reposition it slightly. Don't snap, don't. It snapped. Fine, I'll just leave it where it is. It's not worth messing with. All right, so, hello, everybody.
Hi.
We are getting back into the swing of things with Procyon. So that's the plan for tonight. I don't know, Samson, if you have anything that you are in particular working on?
Yeah, so what I'm going to try doing tonight, because we're a little bit ahead in art in terms of layouts and stuff. So what I'm going to try doing tonight is I'm going to noodle around and see if I can come up with some kind of an image of Procyon and Captain Marvel in honor of the release of the movie this week.
Yes.
And we'll see what it turns into, and maybe we'll have more details about it later.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a little bit of writing up the script for the next few pages. I believe last time we left off on page 2, page 3, and we left some blank spots there. Page 4. Okay, yeah, so we were just finishing up page 4 at the end of the last episode. So page 4 is where Arthur, tries to lift the engine, and it causes the whole chassis of the car that his auto shop teacher is working on to shift. And we have to get into the last panel where it crushes the guy's leg. So that's where we're starting off tonight, with crushing and crippling some poor guy's leg. I know, it's Mondays, am I right?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a terrible joke. Anyways, yeah, so that's where we're going to start off. Let's see here. I don't know how. Let's see here. Pulls free from the compartment, unbalancing chassis. So the teacher guy, we need to come up with a better name than One Eye. I mean, yes, we've decided he's going to have one eye, but we actually need to give the guy a name.
Yeah, I don't even remember any gym teachers' names. I apologize, but I can't think of one.
I only remember one gym teacher name from high school,
Yeah.
and he was a jerk. He cheated on his wife, who was also a coach at our high school, and I'm not going to give him the satisfaction because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I didn't take any small engines or anything like that, or any kind of auto repair classes. So
Me neither. I do remember the name of my physics and chemistry teacher, though.
let's go with that.
All
Sounds
right.
Great.
Mr. Nichols, I'm so sorry about your eye and your leg. It's nothing personal. I actually thought you were an awesome teacher, so if you happen to watch this, don't take this personally.
It's meant pure admiration.
Exactly. All right. So let's get back down there, and then let's replace One Eye with the actual name. Fun fact, when we were in Mr. Nichols' class in high school, I think it was my junior or senior year, he took us on a field trip to go see the latest Star Trek movie.
Oh, nice.
I think it was it? It wasn't, can't imagine it was Generations.
I could argue that whatever movie it was educational.
Well, yeah, it's Star Trek.
Yeah.
So, actually, Mr. Nordheim, no, it's too. That's a little bit too
Nordheim.
a little bit too on the nose there. Yeah, Mr. Nichols, it is. So it's written, so shall it be. But yeah, I think it was actually Star Trek. This is gonna sound terrible, but it wasn't a great Star Trek movie. I'm pretty sure it was the one where they face off against the bad guys like a Western style showdown at one point in the movie, and it was really, really bad. I can't remember though. So was it Nemesis? Star Trek Nemesis is the one where they run into Picard's Romulan clone.
Right.
I think it was Nemesis, actually, that he took us to see. I don't remember if that scene's in it or not. I might be confusing two Star Trek movies. But, yeah. Anyways. Oh, you actually had a teacher named Mr. Nordheim? Well, I guess if you go to school in Valhalla, that's what you get. So, yeah.
That is a great name, though, Nordheim.
It is. It's a really good name. But the problem is, if we give him one eye and we name him Mr. Nordheim, they're going to expect some sort of Norse mythology tie-in, and I don't want to set up that expectation. So that's one of the tricks with writing, is you can't just write what you want to be in there. You have to make sure you're writing for what you don't want to be in there. Because people will make assumptions. And then if they don't pay off, they get really annoyed about that. So
why were you leading me down this street if you were going there?
Right, exactly. The signs were all there. They come up with these grand conspiracy theories about, the character knew that he was dead the whole time. Okay, so anyways, panel 4. I guess it doesn't have to get much more complicated than that. This stupid thing falls and crushes his leg, right? Like, I can get as descriptive as I want, but ultimately it's going to come down to the actual imagery for it. And I don't know how you want to draw that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get too graphic on it, but
right.
Yeah,
Might not even require you to show the actual leg. You could just show the chassis falling and him screaming in pain. Casher says that would be a Viking carrot. Yes, it would. We don't want to offer false carrots. Carrots are tasty. All right, so
carrot juice.
I've never really done carrot juice, except for that one. What is it? Sobe. It's like orange carrot juice or something like that.
That's
and
pretty good too.
Super sugary, but it's really good.
Yeah. No, just regular carrot juice. Like I think you can get it at like a Jamba Juice. It's really good though.
Huh.
For all of us rabbits.
All right, so Mr. Nichols is going to yell. Procyon is going to kind of narrate. Alright, so I kind of feel like, for those of you who may not have been here for the previous episodes, the idea behind this issue is that Procyon is basically kind of conveying his backstory, his origin story, to other heroes that he's just met. So through the narration, he's kind of talking to an audience. So that's kind of the perspective we're taking with these narration bubbles. It's not so much just that he's like thinking out loud or thinking out loud, quote unquote, or making observations. He's actually, coloring things with his perceptions, his opinions, things like that. So for this narration bubble, I'm just going to go with the line, it was a lesson that hurt to learn. I just regret that it wasn't me that got hurt. So I think that kind of, yeah. I think it puts the right message out there, without leaning too heavily on the, preachy, with great power comes blah, 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 blah. Just don't get me wrong. I love the concept. I love the line. It's just been done a little to death, a little bit. So that means we're done with page 4. We're going to jump into page 5. So in this one, Arthur is trying to fly for the first time. And as we all know, or those of us who've again, been watching for the last few episodes, Arthur has a limited amount of energy stored up. And at the age of 16, he's not really able to store up a whole bunch of energy yet. So he's, gone out trying to fly and everything like that. Once he finally gets airborne, his battery runs out and he plummets. So, with everything that comes of that, being as he doesn't have his, superpowers protecting him at that point. So he is going to hit the ground hard and suffer some consequences for it. So the first time was him learning that he has to be responsible with his powers. The second time is him learning that he has limitations to his powers. That's the idea with the just kind of progression of events. And then, okay, yeah. So panel 1 is going to be, I kind of feel like this should be, I don't know if it should be like a series of panels of him like...
Yeah, I think it would be easier to kind of convey some of the emotion if he were like, maybe I could draw him like twirling while he's falling.
Right.
So like maybe even, I don't know if it would work to do it that way, but like, I guess going across the top, maybe a series of like 5 or 6 smaller panels of him just kind of like end over end, out of control.
Yeah, we don't actually have to show
by.
him. Say again?
A bird passing him by.
Bird's kind of watching him like, what the heck are you doing? I kind of feel like it doesn't even need to show the attempts to fly. It can just show that part of it. Like, just jump right into...
Or maybe something kind of like, and finally I figured out a power or something, and like I could show him like kind of flying and super excited, eyes watering up because it's the first time, and then boom, his power's down.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so panel 1 is going to be close up of Procyon's face. Hold on one second, folks. We're going to go on mute for a moment.
Sorry.
No,
That's okay.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, folks. Just had to recenter the camera for Samson. The nature of the drawing and whatnot, you kind of have to move the thing around.
Yeah.
So hopefully that centers it a little bit better.
I like to move my paper around.
Yeah, next time he goes off frame, we're going to start hitting him with stuff. So
Yeah, I need to start wearing a helmet.
not in the face. Okay. So in this particular case, it's going to be a close-up of Procyon's face. He looks ecstatic. Is it 1C ecstatic? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Ecstatic. With the ground in the distance behind him. All right. Hair is whipping back in the wind as he soars upward. All right, so let's see. Another little narration bubble here. And he's going to say something along the lines of...
Ah!
Not yet.
Okay. This is why I don't write.
I want to try to avoid being too Cashra recommends a rolled up newspaper for hitting you when you go off frame again.
I better be careful.
Cashra is, those hurt. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Let's see. I want it to be something not necessarily cliched, you know. I don't know. Let me kind of format the rest of the page while I think on it. I can always come back and do the narration piece again, or a little bit later, but I'd rather do it since I'm here. Huh. How do we want to do this? I'm trying to think of a way to kind of get some characterization in there that shows kind of how he looks back on this experience now.
What was the lesson?
Yeah, like kind of starts off.
So, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so no, I don't like that either. Never mind. I had a thought, and it was half formed, and then once it kind of became fully formed, I realized I didn't like it. So we're not going to go with it. What was your suggestion?
So I was gonna say maybe I'm not sure how something along the lines of like, you know, and I realized I had powers, or I realized I had abilities, but the abilities had limits. Something like that, kind of foreshadowing what's about to happen, and then maybe I don't know. The lesson is I had to learn the hard way that sometimes I can harm myself.
Right.
Trying to be whatever. I don't know if that helped at all. I think I did the same thing you did. I had an idea and it didn't work out.
So he's saying the first time I intentionally manifested a power, rather than letting instinct guide me, I flew.
Yeah, I like that.
And then for the second panel, well, actually, so I guess this isn't really going to be the second panel. So when you think of that panel, do you imagine it being kind of across the entire width of the page, or do you imagine it kind of being in like the upper left corner, and then?
So I would think. I don't know how much more you have to say, but like, so I would picture like maybe an entire quarter of the page, be that like him, like I can show him kind of coming up off the ground, like, you know, and then the other quarter of that page can be a series of like 5 to 6 panels where he's kind of tumbling, and then you would still have a half a page to do the landing and the
right
whatever.
So kind of in my mind, what I'm thinking of for this is, you know, the upper left quarter of the page, like you said, being him flying, right?
Yeah.
And then the upper right quarter of the page kind of being basically being a shot like up into the sky, like you're looking at it from ground level.
Okay.
And then there are a bunch of smaller like panels that get bigger and bigger and bigger, kind of showing him as like a speck, and then bigger
As he gets closer.
As he gets closer
That's
to
awesome.
the
I
land,
like that
to the
idea.
ground.
Yeah, that's a good play with perspective and distance. I like that.
Okay.
That's good.
I don't know if you need me to make a note of that or not.
Just however you describe it, I think
Okay.
I'm good.
So panel 2. Perspective is looking up into the sky from ground level. And that is all bolded, and I need to fix that because it's going to bother me. There we go. The sky is clear and blue with the sun shining brightly. a bird of some sort. What's it called when they... Oh, glides. Glides past a series of inset panels. Starting small. Getting bigger from left to right. Shows a speck. Then progressively larger images of Arthur as he plummets toward the ground. So yeah, he's flying, and then you kind of see from the ground level, and he's plummeting, and that's going to be panel 2 in that particular case. Now, I don't necessarily think he needs to say anything for that panel. I feel like that one can kind of be sans dialogue. But then for panel 3, I think at that point we could even just show him lying there and his mother like running. So we could just leave it as like pretty much the bottom half of the page is him.
Maybe she saw it all from like the porch or something, and she's like running out to.
Yeah, I kind of feel like she didn't necessarily see him fall. She just looks out there and sees him laying there, like hurt.
Okay.
And that's when he's saying like, that's when I learned that, you know, I had limits, type of thing.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah. Maybe something to the effect of like, my actions have consequences for others. Maybe like I'm thinking, so the panel could be like his mom running towards him, and then maybe a panel with him sitting in a cast or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. So we'll put in a 4th panel then. I kind of like this one being like kind of a small one, kind of fitting in the bottom, like kind of bottom right corner of the page. So it doesn't have to be very prominent, but it definitely shows him like sitting in a chair, like with his leg up in a cast and the arm up in a cast or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe kind of showing brooding, and maybe not like kind of his mom in the background, but you can't really see her, but she's kind of back there, and make it small to kind of imply the, you know, his shame in telling the story. It's kind of afterthought type thing. Yeah. Doesn't really want to highlight it.
I like that. Is sprinting. Hi, Ayla. So, for any of you who've seen any of my previous streams, you know I have a cat. For those of you who have never seen any of our streams yet, this is one of them. She's off camera at the moment, but you can probably hear her. Her name is Ayla, and she's adorable. But she's not as camera friendly as our other cats are. So you may see her on camera, you may not. I'm not going to force it. But I have to pet her for a moment, otherwise she will continue to berate me. How's it coming with you, Samson?
So still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with it here, but I'm just kind of playing around with some poses, erasing stuff, starting over. So I think what I'm going to do for this, though, is once I figure out what I want, I will probably post up at least the penciled version of it on Instagram. And then I'm thinking, you know, we are going to WonderCon.
That's true.
So maybe there's some kind of giveaway in somebody's future if they're interested. We'll, figure out some details on that.
I think that'd be awesome. So if you guys are going to be at WonderCon, and if you want to pick up, you know, some cool artwork, you can come find us. Follow us here on Twitch. Come find us. Let us know your username, and we will work something out. Casher, she is cute. She really is adorable. She's very, she's a model cat. There you go. Casher says, I like that his mother finds him laying there instead of seeing him fly. Yeah, we kind of talked about this in the last episode, I think, where his mom kind of has some suspicions that he is not just a normal kid. but she doesn't have any concrete evidence.
Yeah.
And we have to explore that dynamic a little bit more, because when we get to the more like the modern character, like today's version of Procyon, the adult version, his mom is still alive. She's still around.
Yeah.
And so we have to figure out the dynamic there. Like, by this point, has she figured out that's who he is? It doesn't seem like he's really taking many steps to hide his face, unless the mustache is somehow fake or, part of the disguise.
No, it is not a CGI mustache.
CGI mustaches are the wave of the future. Every good superhero's origin story should have a CGI mustache. For those of you who don't know, that is a reference to
Justice League.
Henry Cavill's Superman in Justice League. So I'm sure most of you already know that, but just FYI in case you didn't. So yeah, we have to explore that dynamic a little bit more. But at this point in the story, she doesn't really know. She just finds him laying, Well, actually, here's a question: is this like? I don't want to make it too Superman. Like, they're not on a farm out in Kansas.
No, I thought we talked about them possibly living on base. So maybe.
Yeah, depending on which base they're on, there are some military bases that are huge, and they've got, like mountain ranges and stuff like that. So,
right.
like, he could have theoretically done that.
Yeah, and
still been relatively unobserved.
I kind of want, like, for me, the way I picture this happening is like, this world is not, oh look, there's a guy flying. That's completely normal. Like, it's something. So, like, if somebody were to see a kid flying, they would kind of be like, oh, I need to go to bed earlier or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what did I eat? So like, there would be like a type of disbelief. Maybe if there was somebody that saw him, they were just kind of like, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It was a kite.
Yeah.
I just saw someone flying a kite. Casher says, even the female characters. Even the female characters, what? I cannot literally remember what I said a minute ago, so I apologize for that. Alright, so let's see here. I'm gonna let Samson worry about like the setting for this situation. Just because I'm not quite sure if I want it to be more kind of like suburban, or if like like I said, kind of in a more isolated part of the military base, or what. But I think, I'm not quite sure, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm thinking, just to elaborate on that. I've only been on a couple of bases, and from what I can tell, they look like fairly normal neighborhoods, the parts I've been to.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, so it'll probably be something kind of like that, but maybe like next to a field.
You know what? You know what might be good? It's like, I kind of imagine that if he was off somewhere where he wasn't going to be seen, he wouldn't necessarily... Cashier says, even the female characters need mustaches. Yes, the female characters will all get CGI mustaches as well. We're equal opportunity CGI mustache suppliers. So
there's actually a character we could possibly work that in with really well, and I think it would be amazing.
We'll have to talk about this later.
Will, yeah.
Oh, are you talking about?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. All right. We'll talk more about that later. Anyways, so I kind of feel like, instead of her coming up on like her being the first one to respond to him like laying there hurt, I feel like she should actually be showing up as he's like getting put into an ambulance on a gurney.
Oh,
and so you could have like some military police guys there.
Yeah.
Like to imply that they're on base.
Right.
And then the ambulance there to like, and she's kind of showing up.
Okay.
At
yeah,
that point
I like
in time.
that. That makes sense.
I think that's a little bit more realistic than him like just landing in their backyard and her going, "That's weird. My son's out there and it looks like he's really badly hurt."
Yeah. Why is his leg bending that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, that does make more sense, I guess.
Is in uniform.
The only thing, I just want to play devil's advocate here, but should he have a friend with him? Like, if it is, I don't want it to be too remote, because then somebody had to see him. There's got to be some way that the ambulance was notified, called, summons.
I mean, it could just... We don't have to go into details there. I mean, someone might have driven by and seen him.
That's
like
true.
It,
That's true. maybe he fell in the street and a car came by.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, perfect.
So. Okay, so Arthur's mother, she was at work, on duty, so she shows up on the scene in her uniform. She's kind of pushing past a military police officer. You know, Arthur's on the gurney as they're, putting him into the ambulance. Yeah, I think that works to kind of convey what we want to convey. You know what? Instead of a gurney, let's say he's on a backboard. Being lifted into an ambulance by a paramedic. Just because, kind of for dramatic purposes, I feel like if he's on a gurney, it doesn't seem as severe, but if he's like on a backboard with like the neck brace on,
it looks more serious.
That looks more serious.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so let's go with that. Sorry, folks. Don't mean to be quiet. Just kind of focus on getting this written up real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to be better about that myself, but I'm thinking about what I'm doing, so I'm like not even. I don't want to talk it out while I'm doing it either because my mind wanders. So nobody wants to hear that.
Okay, so Procyon, again, through narration says, it's also the first time, previous panel 1, he says, the first time I intentionally manifested a power, rather than letting instinct guide me, I flew. It's also the first time I really learned that I had limits, a reserve of energy. When it was gone, I was just an ordinary kid. And then second narration panel, kind of in that, or narration box in that same panel, it also taught me that even when I am the one getting hurt, others suffer if I'm not smart about my powers. So
perfect. That sums up what we wanted to get right there.
I think that works pretty well.
Yeah, very well done.
And then Arthur is sitting in an armchair. One arm and one leg are in casts. Over his shoulder. His mother is standing in the kitchen. I don't like her standing in the kitchen. I think I just like her kind of like standing over his shoulder.
Yeah, I was thinking of drawing kind of like a medium shot on him, kind of slouched over in the chair, maybe like his arm popped up, looking really dark around the eyes, like really
Right.
depressed looking, and then kind of just her behind him, and you can like see her hand, her hand on his shoulder. Not gonna really be able to see her, kind of maybe like waist, like maybe her midsection would be all you would see because she's kind of behind him, something like that. Maybe.
I like that. Standing. With hand on his shoulder. There we go. Looking miserable and brooding. Alright. So, he gets himself really badly hurt. He's laid up for a while. Anybody who... Bless
Excuse
you.
me, guys. Sorry about that.
Anybody who, as a kid, ever broke a bone right before summer happened, and I did it twice, 2 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
It sucks.
Same bone or?
No, different arms.
Oh, no.
It was the worst. So yeah, you know, I feel for him. I've been there. And I didn't even have superpowers. I was just a dumb kid.
This is art imitating life right here.
So, funny story. The second arm I broke was my right arm. Or no, I'm sorry, it was my left arm. My younger sister was going to school year round, but I wasn't. For whatever reason, like, the middle school and the elementary school had different schedules. So I had the summer off. My little sister didn't.
Okay.
So one of us, either me or my older sister, would ride our bikes with our little sister to take her to school. On the way home one day, I was riding along on the sidewalk, and a young lady that I was fond of went the other direction, and I got distracted briefly, and my tire, the front tire of my bike went off the pavement, and it was basically a big like desert lot to one side. So there was actually a drop between the top of the pavement and like where the actual desert started. So my tire dropped off, and I instinctively kind of jerked it back the other direction, which caused me to pitch to the side, barely missing a car that was passing me.
Oh, wow.
And I fell, and I broke my arm, and you could tell that it was broken. Like, the bones were, like, offset under the skin. So, yeah. Don't drive or ride your bike distracted, regardless of what it is that's distracting you. That's a little PSA by Ravensdale Publishing, folks. The thing is, the girl didn't even notice. She just kept on going.
Yeah, that's
So
how it works.
it's not even like she could turn around and be like, "Oh no, you poor guy." Nope, nothing like that. Oh well, it all worked out. I like the person I ended up marrying, so I have to say that she's over there. But she's playing Diablo 3, so she's not really paying attention. Oh yeah, yes. Sorry if that was a bit descriptive, folks. But you know, just sharing my life story.
Reminiscing's part of the writing process.
It kind of is. I mean, you have to, like you said, you have to pull from what you've experienced when you're writing. So, you know. So, getting into panel 6. Actually, hold on a second. Sorry, folks. I'm going to scroll up real quick. A little bit of aggressive scrolling just to make sure. Okay, so something that's bugging me just a little bit about what we've got here. Page 1, 1 panel. Page 2, 3 panels. Page 3, 5 panels. No problems there. Page 4 is 4 panels. And then page 5 is 4 panels. And I know it's not a problem, but something about having the same number of panels on 2 consecutive pages bothers me. But it's fine.
I'll find a fix for that. I'll find a fix for it.
I guess technically page 5 doesn't have just 4 panels. It's got 4 main panels, and then it's got a bunch of inset panels on panel 2. So I can...
Maybe I'll do like a extended artwork behind some of the panels or something. Or
there we go.
I'll figure out a way to make it different.
Awesome. Just to break it up a little. You don't want it to be visually... You don't want it to like blend together visually, because while you want it to be one seamless visual story, you also don't want to just... You don't want your brain to kind of skip over details, because it's all just one blob of
Yeah.
Like, really similar or repetitive imagery, I guess.
Yeah, no,
So,
absolutely.
anyways, we have a little bit of a bird motif. Because in page 5, you see the one bird flying past, and on page 6, you see a flock of birds flying away.
Is it the same bird? Oh, wait, flock of birds, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to get the conspiracy theorist going.
All right, so page 6, we're getting into seeing the villain of the issue.
Just trying to get into the meat of it here.
Yep. Let's see. All right, so Maelstrom stands at the top of a cliff overlooking an expansive forest. Flocks of birds are flying away from the trees, and deer, bears, and wolves can be seen fleeing on the ground. Out of nowhere, a flame erupts from the center of the forest, and another figure in the shadows appears and questions Maelstrom. Another figure in shadows appears. Anyways.
How long are we going to keep that character in shadow?
Until he first runs into him.
Okay.
So I don't think that'll happen for a few pages at least.
Okay.
Okay, so panel 1. So this character, because she is the force of nature, I don't want her to be like, a terribly broody villain. She is all about nature, so she doesn't mind standing in the middle of the sunshine and just enjoying a nice sunny day. So kind of counter to what a lot of comic books do with their villains, where they're partially obscured and everything. No, she doesn't have anything to hide.
Yeah, I mean, she knows who she is. She's been around for a while.
Yep.
And she's very driven and focused.
I don't think we've explained her backstory.
I don't know if we have either. I don't know if we really got into it.
We probably should.
Yeah, it's good times, any.
Okay. So, in our universe, this will tie back in, I promise. Actually, hold on. I'm going to mute for 5 seconds. Sorry, folks. There we go.
And we're back.
And we're back. So, the idea behind her, and this is going to be kind of vague at first because we just conferred, and we don't want to give away too much. But basically, the force of nature has been around for a while.
A long time.
A long time. Yeah, let's just leave it at that for now. But in this most recent kind of iteration, or this most recent kind of reincarnation, she basically took over the body and identity of an investigative reporter who focused a lot on environmental issues and stuff like that. So let's talk about motivations.
Okay.
Because she's been around a while, she's tried different things, trying to figure out what she's really trying to get out of life and this whole human race thing. And more recently, kind of since she's come back into action and onto the global stage, she's kind of decided that she's more interested in amassing money, because in this day and age, the more money you have, the more powerful you are, and the more people kind of project onto you that you are successful and somehow good for the greater community as a whole.
Yeah, she's falling into the social media trappings of fame and fortune and
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So kind of latching on to, although this is a bit too early for social media to really have kicked in just yet. I think this is probably happening right around early 2000s.
Yeah.
So, some social media kind of starting to break in, but it's not as big as it is today. Really what she's looking at, though, is that, like, people with, millions of dollars, billions of dollars tend to kind of be de facto, influencers in their communities and their, in society in general.
Yeah. And
so she's kind of looking to gain that level of prestige and influence through money. That's kind of the idea here.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Casher, that's exactly what it is. Mother Nature corrupted by modernity.
Yep.
I don't know why, but my brain cannot pronounce that word.
That's why I draw pictures.
Mother Nature corrupted by the influences of the modern world, basically, but not in the sense that she's throwing radiation around or causing plagues or anything like that. It just mentally she's kind of been corrupted by this. So,
and part of it, I don't know if that's too much. Never mind.
It's difficult not to reveal spoilers, because you can't reveal all your secrets too early. Otherwise, people they lose interest. Which is one of the reasons the Netflix shows always end on a cliffhanger, because they want you to come, just keep watching for the next episode. I guess it's not just Netflix shows. Traditional format TV shows do the same thing.
Netflix making me wait a year for a show.
That's why Sam Beckett always jumped into a new body right before the end of every episode in Quantum Leap.
That is a solid point. That is because it happened like that. You just got just a glimpse of what was going to happen, yeah.
And it always ended up with going, oh, and then freeze frame right there. Quantum Leap, folks. It's kind of dated, but it's a really good show. You should watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
Anyways, total tangent, but worthwhile because it is a good show. So, I don't think we need any dialogue in panel 1. So, panel 2. Flocks of birds are flying in all directions and various you know what? I'm not going to specify in the panel description what kinds of animals. I will let Samson draw whatever his, whimsical heart is feeling like drawing. So
I'll throw some cute ones in there.
There you go. I mean, it's kind of a wide aerial shot, so I don't even know that you'll be able to see much in the way of detail. They may just have to be kind of vague forms, but again, I'll leave that to you. Casher is very impressed by our Quantum Leap tangent. And I gotta be honest, growing up, it was one of my favorite shows.
It is one of the only shows I can remember sitting down as a family and watching.
And you're watching every single episode, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like Star Trek. But this one, it was episodic but had a larger storyline, which the Next Generation didn't as much. Until kind of some of the later seasons, where they kind of had recurring elements of narrative with the Borg and whatnot. But Quantum Leap, like, there was always a very clear goal from the outset.
How are you at the series ending? Just curious.
I was probably like 10 or 11 years old, and I just remember the end of the last episode. Like
Spoilers.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, all right.
The end of that last episode, the credits rolled, and I just remember getting up and walking into my room and going to bed. I didn't say anything to my parents. I didn't say anything to my sister. We didn't discuss it at all. I was so furious at the way it ended.
Yeah, I was not happy.
Like, I didn't talk about it for years afterwards. It just...
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was so angry.
Me too.
Anyways. It's still a good show. You should still watch it. But just be prepared for that ending. So, yeah. Let's see. We've got the forest underneath her. And then... Okay, so it looks like this is going to be 3 panels, probably. And then we've got... Panel 3. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. Oh no, yeah, panel 3. Okay. Trees in the center of the forest abruptly catch fire. A thin wisps of smoke. Smokle? And I spelled wisps wrong. There we go. Thin wisps of smoke rise up. Rise up into the sky. A vague, no, not a vague figure. What's the term I'm looking for? A
shadowy, cloaked, hidden.
Thank you. An indistinct figure stands beside Maelstrom. Shadowy figure. You're warning the critters? Maelstrom says, of course. I'm not a monster. Alright. And I think that'll probably be where we end off for the night. We finished off page 4. We wrote page 5. We've got page 6 in the bag. So now we're moving on to page 7. And we haven't really done much at this point to, like, past page 7. So on page 7, we got a brief action summary saying that we're cutting to Arthur. He's, older. He's in his early 20s. He's in his costume. We have to figure out where he got that, but we'll figure that out later. Don't worry about it right now. And that's where we're kind of ending off. So next episode, we'll actually get into the action of this particular issue.
Yep.
So that's my plan.
Let the carnage begin.
Yep. Stuff is going to happen. You're going to see some super heroics. He's going to be saving people. He's going to be fighting a bad guy. Things are going to happen. But, yeah. I'm pretty happy with the way this is shaping up, personally.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. So later on this week, I will have a definitive kind of layout for this. And I'm thinking there's no reason why I can't be working on this a little bit next week as well. So maybe I'll be doing the inks then.
Okay.
And then we can go into, or maybe the colors on Monday and maybe the inks like we were talking about earlier.
So for that piece or for the layouts?
For this piece.
Okay.
So
yeah, maybe we'll do another stream on Thursday. We'll have to look at that. It's not set in stone yet.
Yeah.
But we might do a stream on Thursday since that's when Captain Marvel comes out. So we may do a short stream prior to us going to the showing of Captain Marvel that we're planning on seeing and kind of just talking about it. Samson will do some additional work on the piece he's working on there. You know, we might be able to do a who would win in a fight, Captain Marvel or Procyon type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, that might be kind of fun.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe we could do some predictions for the movie, see how right we are. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into...
I'm always happy to speculate.
Yeah.
But once you've seen the movie, you're not allowed to spoil.
Absolutely.
So that's my take on it.
That is the worst. That is the most egregious sin, or grievous sin, or whatever that word is.
Egregious?
Yeah, there
egregious. There you go. I agree. Especially like really highly anticipated movies. When I was in high school, The Sixth Sense came out.
That was spoiled for you?
Great movie. I went probably like 2 weeks with telling people like I haven't seen it yet, don't talk about it. And people they were totally cool with that. And then I actually got a date with the French foreign exchange student to go see the movie. And literally the last period of that day, I walked into my last class, and the guy turns to me. This guy, kind of a friend, but kind of a jerk. He kind of hung out with our friend group, but I don't know that we really liked him much.
Definitely don't like him now.
Yeah, exactly. He turns, looks me dead in the eye, and says, "Bruce Willis is dead the entire time." And I was just like, "You are such a jerk." Like, it was the worst. I still really enjoyed the movie. It's still a good movie, but man.
Yeah, there's something to be said though, like, because I think I'm pretty good at.
By the way, probably should have said spoiler alert, but it is like a 20-year-old movie at this point, so it's your fault if you haven't seen it yet. Yes. Sorry to interrupt. Please go ahead.
No, yeah. So like, I remember watching the movie, and there's the point where he's having a conversation with his wife, and I feel like I'm normally pretty good at kind of figuring out movies or whatever, but for whatever reason didn't catch it till then.
Yeah.
But the moment I caught it, I was like, oh my god, like that feeling is so great in movies.
Yeah.
Like, I really love that. So I cannot stand when people spoil stuff.
Yeah.
Especially because they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
They're
just doing it to be jerks.
Yeah. I would rather you punch me in the face and spoil a movie. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I would rather get hit in the face than have something spoiled. If I'm looking forward to it. If I don't care about it, then
then talk about it.
Do whatever you do.
And I will say, M. Night Shyamalan has been writing all the goodwill he earned from The Sixth Sense ever since then, with the exception of Unbreakable, which was a phenomenal movie. But his most recent one, Glass, don't see it. It's horrible.
I have not seen it yet, so I have no opinion. But I am disappointed to hear that because it's supposed to be a trilogy.
I'm just gonna say just don't see it. Don't do it. Anyways, so a little bit of movie talk. One page finished, even though there was technically only one panel that we had to finish off, but 2 more pages done and completed. That's pretty good progress in my book. Pretty good progress in my comic book, I guess. Yeah, technically. Okay. But yeah, thanks very much for following us. If you're following us, if you're not following us, please follow us. And speaking of that, we do have our giveaway that we kind of alluded to in our Instagram post. Here are the rules for it. Basically, if you follow us here on Twitch, or if you follow us on YouTube, or you comment on any of our videos, you will get entered onto our raffle list. Once we hit 50 followers, and then every 25 followers after that, we will do a drawing where you will get our really cool, cute, adorable stickers, which you can see here on the Ravensdale Writes Comics contest rules page, as well as the pin of the manipulator, which is right in the center of that page. And then you can also win...
You can win some sketches.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple to go through, and we'll probably maybe leave that up to winner's choice. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll kind of see how we're feeling. It'll probably be either concept art for some of our characters. It might be one of the original like comic layout pages. It might be just a character sketch. Kind of depends on what we have available and what you guys are interested in. So if you do win, we will discuss with you what kind of artwork you're looking to pick up.
Yeah.
Key thing is, if you are going to comment, please don't use any profanity, hate speech. Just don't be a jerk. I mean, let's just cut to the chase. Yeah. So thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Casher says, "Yay, sketches, stickers, and pins." Those stickers are adorable. You can thank Samson for those, by the way. Actually, he's the one who did those. So
They were fun to draw.
all right.
Happy to share them with everybody.
And like we said, we will be at WonderCon at the end of March. So if you're going to be there, come find us. We'll talk about it more next week and the week after that, kind of leading up to the event. But WonderCon is one of the best conventions of the year. So if you're in the Southern California area, I definitely recommend checking it out.
It's definitely my favorite so far of every convention I've been to.
Yeah.
WonderCon's it, yeah.
It does a good job of like kind of not catering to gaming, but hosting gaming. Like they really make sure that it is front and rear because it's in the back of one of the convention halls, but it's still on the convention hall floor, so people can walk by and see it. They stop in to play games, to sit down and take a break. It's one of the best conventions for that, especially because it's a comic book convention, so it's not really meant to be geared towards gaming, but the way they incorporate it is really smart. So
Yeah, actually, I really love it. There's lots of space. You can stop and talk to people.
Yep.
You don't have to run untrampled. Everything's easy to find. It's just great.
Yep.
It's wonderful.
So yeah, come find us there.
Yep.
And of course, before that, come find us next Monday for another Ravensdale Writes Comics. And this Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a Ravensdale Role Plays Ravnica Behind the Screens edition, where I'm going to be doing my Dungeon Master thing, plotting out the next session for the Ravnica D&D campaign that aired yesterday.
I need somebody to watch that and give me tips.
You're not supposed to solicit spies. That's not what the purpose of this.
Hey, magic, mirror, I don't know. There's something that we can work out here. I know there is.
Don't do it, guys. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
See ya.